Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. How are you doing today, my friend? I'm so excited that you're here. I'm so happy that our paths have crossed. How you doing? Today we are talking about something that is really important. We're shining the biggest light on things. That's what we're doing. I am talking about today about being and becoming self-led. We're going to talk the ins and outs of what that really means. And first, I just want to start by saying that a lot of us have been through our stages of growth in many different ways, from maybe counseling or therapy to reading books. Maybe we've studied with, or we've been coached, or we've been mentored, or however you've, been through your own self-growth and personal development journey. And for a long time, it's about learning. It's about learning, the terms and, my core wounds and what is the shadow and what is the inner child, and whether you have or haven't, dove into all those things. A lot of the times, a lot of it in the beginning is about learning and listening and absorbing and finding teachers and mentors. And I hope for that for you forever, to find teachers and people that, you resonate with their message. And all of that is extremely beautiful. And I hope it never goes away. I know I'm a self-growth junkie and I will always do that stuff. And I find that eventually something starts to shift where maybe it's about one subject or in general in your life, where you stop searching for somebody to kind of tell you who to be or tell you exactly what to do, and you start leading yourself forward, taking bits and parts of what you've learned over your time, different things that stuck, different things that were like, big ahas that felt really important, different tools, different perspectives. You're gathering all this stuff and you're moving forward in your own direction. If anybody knows about the Saturn return in astrology, it reminds me of that energy. So the Saturn return is approximately every 27 years. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about here, but in our first 27 years, they say we're gathering all this information about who we are and who the world is and what it means to be this and what it means to be that and what I should be. And then we go through a shedding where we start to carve our own path. It's like whatever, it's not what our parents want us to do anymore or what society says. We start going our own direction. As I say that, 27 feels so young. And I'm like, man, I wasn't even close to going my own direction. But anyway, it's this time in our life, no matter how old you are, becoming self-led is like becoming the leader of your own life, moving yourself forward, being resourced within yourself. And that doesn't mean you have to do it alone. It also doesn't mean you have to, go out and hire someone. It's the in-between energy of becoming the one that moves you forward. And I want to talk about what that really means. And this concept is, or not even concept, this topic is healing and it's nurturing. It's also activating in a good way of, putting fire under you to go, yes, I am ready to move forward. I am that person to help myself move forward. I'm on this growth edge. I'm hungry for more. Let's do it. So that's what I hope this episode does for you, is a little bit of all of it, a little bit of nurturing, a little bit of healing, some education, all that good stuff, and a fire under you as you move through this time of growth. So I think that's all I'm going to say in the intro. Of course, if you have not yet picked up my book, The Delicate Art of Transformation, do it. I invite you to, if you're into self-growth and personal transformation. I weave my own story in there the whole way, as well as mirroring the process of the butterfly with the tools, the learning, everything I've been through on my own journey, really packaging it up and delivering it to you in something that I think is hilarious and heartfelt and has the emotional ups and downs of a good book, and you'll learn a lot about yourself. So I really hope that you enjoy it. You can find the link below, as well as I hope to see you in Bali, my friend. Are you coming? It's going to be so good. You can check the link for that below if you're like, Bali? What is this? Check the link below for the retreat in January 2027, and I will see you there. And with that, that's it. Let's dive in. Take a sip of water. Take a deep breath. And let's get into this episode. Something happened for me in 2025. And before that, I had been on a journey of healing, self-love. I'd been through more than a decade of an eating disorder, chronic pain, lots of issues in my own life, as we all have been, right? I was healing. I was really trying to not be, in my own language, so fucked up so I could move myself forward. But truly, I was on a deep journey. And through my recovery with my eating disorder, I had been focusing on learning how to unconditionally love myself. So sort of pre-pandemic and around that time, it was this journey of what did it mean to love myself without conditions, not attached to a weight or an income or a status or a this or a that. And that was a huge season I was in, and I was practicing, and there were lots of things, as I do talk about in my book and I've talked about here on the show. You guys were there through that and all the things, the healing road trips and everything else. But I went through a lot, and I was really making a lot of progress. And then 2025 hit me. It felt like January 1st, something was actually different and not in the way that we want it to be January 1st, 2025. But it really felt like all of my stuff surfaced at once. And if you were here on the show, I did talk about it. I'm always transparent about my journey, but it truly was like all the wounds, all the stories, all the not enoughness, all the nothingness, all of the aloneness, a lot of things. It was all the moments and the failures and the less thans, and my pain was flaring up in my body. And it was like everything I thought I dealt with was all coming up at the same time. And I felt like I was failing at life. I felt under constant stress. I had let go of almost all aspects of my business because things were out of alignment, and I just wasn't into it. I couldn't do what I had been doing. So I was in this in-between. And in that in-between, it was horribly painful. I went through a death and rebirth. I swear I went through a dark night of the soul, because at times I was mad that I had to be human this time and deal with this stuff and a physical body and, making money and having a business and all the pressures and doing all the things and being highly sensitive and feeling sometimes like this life is so intense and almost too much for my delicate, self and my energy. And it really was awful. So I'm kind of glossing over because I'm storytelling. As I said, I did talk about it here on the show, and I look forward to talking about it more. You can read about it in my book, but it was a very intense time. And at one point in 2025, after really truly spending a lot of time on the floor, like I'm not even kidding, being in so much pain emotionally, physically, and I got to this point where I kind of felt almost done. Like I had moved from sadness into anger, into rage, back into sadness, probably did that a bunch of times, but all of a sudden felt like it's like I'm done. I'm done believing I'm not enough. I'm done feeling alone and small. And I kind of had, I'm trying to put it into words, but so many back-to-back realizations and moments of kind of like, fine, if I'm here for this time as a human in a body, doing this life here, feeling like I'm meant to do this, I'm meant to do that, and this is my current life, and this is who I am. I want to rock it. I do not want to go through my days being somebody who's always suffering with something. I'm here to thrive. And so again, I'm just storytelling, but these were deep, deep shifts and realizations in my being. But really it boiled down to like, I'm done. I'm done with this. And I realized more deeply that the whole purpose of this life is to enjoy yourself. And it's not that it erases all your problems, but as I was talking about with the pleasure portal and all that, I really realized that, like, what is the point of all of this if I'm not even enjoying myself? What is the point of trying so hard or striving or caring what other people think or having my worth determined by my past or my history or my history and all these other things? What is the point of like going through all of this and not even enjoying yourself, not even enjoying the fruits of your labor? And again, there was stacking realizations that just had me go, F it. I am going to choose to enjoy this life. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice, as I have said for years and years. And I've practiced that with my physical body that's in pain, with my emotional self that has always been in pain as long as I can remember. And there was a huge turning point. So why I'm sharing this is this was a time when the fire was stoked to self-lead myself out of the goo. Because at the end of the day, we can have the best therapist, coach, bestie, partner, but if we are in our suffering and are not yet in that place of like, that's it, I'm done, there's little other people can do. And we all, have our time to be in the goo. And when the timer goes off and you're like, I'm done believing this, I'm done feeling small, I'm done believing that I'm less than in any way. It's like, it just isn't even relevant anymore. You are here to enjoy your life. You are not behind. You are not what anyone has said you are. You are a unique being, and Source does not make mistakes. You are here uniquely placed. Every freckle, every hair, every bit of who you are exists. So whether you connect it to something spiritual or not, you are what you are and you exist. So whether you think you're right or wrong, you're right. Whether you think you're not enough or you know that you just are enough because you are, either one becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. And in those moments when we feel that, we start to have these, pardon my French, fuck it moments where it's like, I'm done. I'm done believing what the bullies told me in at age 7, not to minimize wounds, but there was this time of just all of a sudden grit. And I'm like, I don't even want to continue trying to, anxiously fix myself. I decided that I wasn't even going to try to fix myself anymore. I just wanted to enjoy myself. What brings me joy? And I posted a little on Instagram about it, but I started baking bread just because I'd never done it before. And it was extremely delicious and also rewarding. I would just go outside and let the sun be on my face. I would transplant my house plants and nurture the garden, not for an end result, not to heal my life or to make money, just because it felt good. It felt like joy. I nurtured my body. I went on slow walks, and it wasn't perfect, and I was suffering at times, and I did have pain flare-ups. But really quickly after that kind of effort moment, I started feeling a surge of power. And this is what happens when we learn to lead ourselves. Self-leadership comes in the everyday. It's in the small things. And when I started baking bread just because it felt good, when I started going for a walk with no end result, it wasn't like a manifestation walk or a fitness walk or a timed walk, just a slow walk for pleasure. When I started letting myself have a bath on a Wednesday in the middle of the day because that's what I needed, these small things started to bring joy back into my life. And I did let go a lot of things in my life that were making me feel sticky, things in my business that I felt were more me 5 years ago, that I felt like I was evolving. So there was a void, there was some space there. But that's what life does sometimes when we've got it all crammed and the old is crammed with what we're hoping to, bring in for the new, and we need a clearing. So sometimes life clears our plate for us, or we make decisions to clear our plate. But this is where we can then start to bring back things that feel more aligned or joyful or pleasure-filled. So sometimes leading yourself is choosing to put something down. So instead of staying in the story of I was suffering, I gently moved myself towards something that felt more nourishing, where I actually genuinely wasn't suffering anymore. Giving myself a bath, a slow walk. I started going to Monday night yogas again, as I've shared here. It was the anchor. And even when I went to this studio for the first time and she's like, why are you here today? And I was like, I'm exhausted and I need something for me. And my husband had been encouraging me and I was finding every reason not to. And finally I was like, fine, one night a week. And when I went in there and laid down on my mat for the first time, I silently started sobbing. So I was like, this feels so good. And it wasn't for an end result. Again, it wasn't manifestation yoga or to lose weight or to this or that, or even to cure my body. It was just because it feels so deeply good to my soul, to my body, to my mind. So sometimes leading is putting down the pressure. Sometimes it's not force, it's grace. Sometimes it's putting the story down that you're behind, or the comparison, or choosing which thoughts you believe and which ones you don't. So, one of the most powerful realizations that we can have, and it's something we consciously know, and you've heard the words before, but when we really see it in our own life and act it out and practice it, it's so powerful. And it's the fact that we can lead ourselves in and out of states. We can lead ourselves into a spiral. We can lead ourselves out of a spiral. We can deliberately shift our own energy. And this is not saying every spiral is your fault and like there's some faulty fault because then we're moving back in the other direction. It's not about that. It's by saying to yourself that you have the power to shift your energetic state. So if you're feeling low, you could feel a tiny bit better with a bath or a walk or watching a hilarious movie like Anchorman or something that just makes you laugh, or, calling a friend. You could do something to shift your state. It's not a should and it's not a pressure. What this is empowerment. So we can lead ourselves in and out of states of being, and it's not to bypass, but to consciously choose the direction of our energy. So even in my breakdown in 2025, something I noticed is I didn't shame myself even when I was laying on the floor suffering. Because to shame myself and say, you're a mess, like, what are you doing? You should be somewhere else by now. To layer that on to what I'm already dealing with is cruel, and that's not self-leading. I guess it is, but it's self-leading in the wrong direction. Self-leadership is me actually saying it's okay to cry right now. It's okay to not have it all together. It's okay to be what you are. That was self-leadership toward empathy and empowerment and healing. So sometimes self-leadership is the moment where you gently say, okay, I know life sucks and, this has been really hard, but let's move in a different direction now. And that can mean going outside, picking, as you guys know, I love micro actions that make a difference. Going outside, moving your body, calling a friend, watching a movie, these things I'm saying, putting on music. Music is such a powerful tool when it comes to shifting our vibration and our state. You could write things out, cry things out, stomp things out, do a cold dip. Things that shift your energy on purpose. In fact, something really beautiful is right before this episode, I was in a fine mood today, but I was feeling kind of neutral. And I knew that this episode that I was going to record. So I got on my walking pad and I jacked it up to like a fast pace, put on a couple songs, and I was like, wow, like really getting my energy up there before recording. I deliberately influenced my state to come here and record something that is even more magnetic. And it would have been fine before, but I have the power to squeeze out the potency, to shift my own energy from like, yeah, I'm fine, to I feel good. Let's get into this. I'm excited. So you can do this in your daily life. You can be in your kitchen doing something and decide to put on music and dance around while you're tidying up or while you're, making food. You can decide to change and shift your vibration at any time, and that is empowering. So if you're feeling really low, my advice is you can get into comfier clothes. You can take a shower. You can just let yourself be with so much grace and empathy. You can curl up on the couch with a snack. You could go to sleep. You could go out in nature. You could call your therapist and say, hey, can we have a chat tomorrow? You could reach out to a friend. You could get yourself your favorite latte. You could do none of that and Netflix all day in the name of love. And that's the part, is no matter where we are, we can always lead ourselves. How would you be if you were your own client, if you were your own best friend, if you were your own lover, if you were your own guardian angel? What would you say to do? So as we move out of the crisis and the suffering and into more, okay, I'm choosing a new direction of my life. And this means doing different things, making different choices. And I want to quickly say, it's not that we don't learn from people. It's not that we're not, learning. There's seasons for authors we love, teachers, coaches, mentors, working one-on-one with somebody, and they help change our life. But that's the difference, is I look at it as we learn from others. We sample others' energy. We learn education. We're there for a time and a season, and we soak up their energy. Even if there's somebody that's your teacher that is through your whole life, you're meant to learn from them. Mentors mentors matter, books matter, teachers matter, formulas and all that good stuff matters. But there's a difference between learning and handing over your power. So self-led people learn from many places, right? We are choosing, we are, taking some from this place and taking some from what we learned here, and we choose our own path forward. So sample ideas, take what resonates, leave what doesn't or doesn't feel right for you. Integrate what works into your life, self-lead yourself into action, but also knowing when something isn't resonant anymore, when it's time to walk away. That is what real leadership looks like. Not just believing what someone else says because they look really flashy on Instagram, but actually leading yourself with what feels right to you. So I use this example a lot with health. If you're looking for, what's the healthiest way I could eat? If you Googled that online, you will get 7 million different responses. You have to find what feels good to you. Because even in the realm of like earth food, real food, some people, their bodies don't like, bell peppers or potatoes and root vegetables. Some people's bodies don't like meat or red meat. Some people, you have to find what works for you. And that's being self-led, trying things, always refining, but it's based on you. It's based on, the things you've learned, you incorporate certain things and you continue going on your path. That is real leadership. And I see my clients and they're doing this thing anyway. They are self-led. They are creating businesses or deep transformation in their lives. They're, going through huge things, have been through huge things, upgrades, and I'm just blessed to be in a section of their journey. They are not dependent on me or anyone else because they are self-led humans. And that's what we're learning to be more and more. So another thing here is if you have experienced wounds around feeling alone, feeling unsupported, if there are abandonment wounds or feeling like nobody is there for you or nobody's coming to save you, this learning to lead yourself thing can feel at times like it's like, what do you mean? So I just have to do this all alone? But what we're going to do is guide our thoughts over to realize that this is actually where we start to truly heal. Because as I just said, it's important to have the people around you. Don't cut yourself off from your true support system. It's not about doing it on your own. But when you begin to or deepen how you lead yourself, something inside you starts to heal because you realize, and this is what I've gone through massive in the last, even just 6 months, it's deepened so much where I really realize I'm not actually alone anymore because I'm here. I'm the person who has my back. And that's not to exclude my husband, my bestie, the people around me that truly care. That's not about that. This is a me and me healing journey. So when we talk about it in this aspect, this is between you and you. You becoming the person who walks yourself home, who speaks grace with yourself, the person that helps you to change everything, that roots you on. This builds self-trust. This heals our abandonment wounds and our never-ending hole of feeling alone, because I know that one well. And when we start to lean in this direction, it builds inner safety. Our body starts to be able to relax. We start to realize that no matter what happens, we'll be okay. Because I didn't plan on saying this, but in the past, it's almost like the thing that hurt the most is that we turned on ourselves. And that's a deep one. But when we learn not to turn on ourselves anymore, we ease the self-judgment, the self-ridicule, and we truly become our own bestie in a way, then no matter what happens, we are not leaving our own side. And that is really powerful. And then the people around us who do love us, our partners, our family, our friends, our pets even, we can actually receive their love and support more because we're not just looking for everyone to save us and looking for validation. We're starting to have that quiet confidence and steady knowing inside. And then we We go to people for support. We go to people for connection and for their input. But at the end of the day, we know that we can take or leave what they say, even if they say, you know what you should do? You should do this. And you feel totally like that's not what I'm saying and you don't get me. We can start to go, well, I get you. That's you saying it to yourself. I'm here for you. I believe in your dreams. And that is so big. So being self-led is inside, it's also externally. And how I want to say it is it's about becoming resourced. You've learned a lot of tools. And that's what I find right now is working with clients. I'm teaching them a lot right now about the nervous system and all these tools, because when you bring your self-awareness and your growth and then you mix it together with your tools, you truly lead yourself out of the situation that you're in, any situation that you don't like. So it's about using your tools, implementing what you've learned, experimenting with different practices, deliberately shifting your own energy, continuing to keep your body, your mind, your energy moving, continuing to show up. So when I say tools, I mean the things that keep you grounded. Is it going for a walk? Is it doing a journaling morning thing? Is it about meditation? Is it about yoga? Is it about talking to a friend or making sure you have consistent mental health support or going to the gym? Using your tools. You're taking big 3 deep breaths and imagining a cloud going by in your head, whatever you do that makes you feel, okay, we're working through this. We're not freaking out and spiraling and shutting down, using your tools. And I say it like that because for a long time I had a million tools, but when something would happen, I'd go into like, I have to figure this out. I have to decode this. What wound is this? And I wasn't actually walking myself and my body through it. And this is going to be something I'm talking about coming up even more, because the shifts within my body are just blowing my mind, because it's been this nervous system change of exactly what I'm talking about. Using my tools, learning to be steady, learning to shift into true safety. And I don't know if my body has ever known that. And what that's doing is lessening my pain, dramatically decreasing the ups and downs in the flare-ups. It's making me feel genuinely more calm and more resilient when I do get triggered. My body's releasing weight. It's like lightening up and creating a steady foundation was what I needed in this last 6 months, this last year. That's how I led myself, is using my tools, implementing what I was learning, truly doing it on the spot. And eventually reaching these places of like, holy crap, I'm doing this. No matter how long it takes, no matter what it looks like, I'm showing up for myself now. I'm practicing this. I'm doing this. I'm leading myself through. That's self-leadership. And sometimes I'll do something where I say, okay, every day this week, I'm going to listen to Wayne Dyer or Abraham or some person that really lights you up, just even 10 minutes a day. I'm going to Google a YouTube thing. I'm going to get back into this book. I'm going to start listening to that podcast again. I'm going to reach out for a session with that person, leading yourself through it, getting yourself through it, saying it's okay that we are where we are, no matter what it looks like, whether it's incredible and you're ready for the next level, or you feel like it's been sticky and you're ready for the next level. You are moving yourself forward. So if you're on this journey right now, as you are, don't even need to say if, you are on this growth journey right now, you are on the precipice of something big. Keep learning, keep seeking wisdom, keep listening inside your heart. What is your heart guiding you to do? What is your inner guide telling you to do as a next step? And just remember that you are the one who gets to lead yourself forward. And this is really where it all comes together, where you don't have to wait to be supported, to be loved, to move forward. You choose it now. You declare it now. You do something now. So what can you do today? Micro action that feels like you are leading yourself in a better direction. Is it drinking water, going for a walk, taking a big, bold, expensive action, or just calling a friend? What can you do to actively lead yourself into more joy or pleasure or well-being? And while you do that, I'll get busy recording the next episode so I can see you in that one as well. All right, my love, if you love this, I highly recommend getting the book and coming to the retreat in Bali. It is going to be very body focused, accessing deeper clarity and the spirit and our well-being through the body, showing up for ourselves, our nervous system, and really having a life-changing experience. So I cannot wait to see you there, and I will also see you in the next episode. Bye.